hard to adapt. People went crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're still kind of like
on that teeter-totter.
Yeah. And inflation doesn't help at all.
Hello.
You should have brought your mother. You should have brought your mother.
How are you? I did not expect to see you.
Look how good you look.
I'm not used to not being able to talk.
Now you're a daddy.
Yeah, I still need to bring Mel to come up to see you. She's in school, so schedules kind of conflict. My wife cannot stop teasing me about this video because it comes like from multiple people in multiple different areas. I'll just randomly sit on Facebook and I'll get a, hey Bryce, is this you? And then they send me the link.
You look exactly like you. You haven't changed at all except for this.
And then they say, Bryce, you know how to spell Jell-O. And it's now the running laughing cycle of Philadelphia. Enjoyed the fact that my mom was always a big reader for us, but you were always very attentive to the specific, I guess, guidance that each child needed. Some kids were a little more high active, a little more high strung. Some kids were a little more laid back, but nobody felt like they were not being, that they weren't getting the attention that they needed. Everybody felt like they had that personal relationship with you.
So I remember always saying to you guys when you were in kindergarten to try to stay friends forever.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I know my husband still keeps in touch with all of his kindergarten friends.
That's awesome.
And yeah, we go once a month, we all have dinner together, and I always loved that, and I wanted that for all of you too.
It's nice that the family dynamic that we adopted in that class, it still is around. We can consider each other brothers.
That means everything to me. I love that you guys are still together.
It's great.
I just love that. I do. I'm going to start crying.
That's how I feel, because it really does bring some authentic emotions. But what do you remember about that kindergarten class?
What I remember about kindergarten is just the way all the kids came in so happy every morning to be in school. Like, I never, I had kids that were like pretty much the same age as all of you. And leaving them in the morning was hard. But, when you came to school and you saw those beautiful faces looking at you and smiling at you every day, that's kind of what I remembered, no matter what, being there and just being accepted and being able to, it was always fun teaching. That's the biggest thing for me. And also, I have to say, the books were the big thing, because we used to read, it was 3 books a day.
Yeah.
Three in the morning, the end of the day, and after lunch. And it was always fun to watch the books that the kids always went to the most.
It's fun for them because they don't always have to play tug and war with me. I'm not always fussing with them to do the right thing because they know how to be safe. And I don't have to fuss with them about learning and working because everything they do, they enjoy doing.
Oh, well, it definitely changed the way I taught. For the biggest thing, and I was thinking about this morning, is my organization techniques. I was an extremely disorganized person.
We couldn't see that.
No?
No.
I could see it.
No, we couldn't see it.
Yeah, I was really, really, really disorganized. And she showed me how to, organize things so it was easier for kids to use crayons and pencils and even books and just everything. So I think that was like the biggest, and I was a slob.
We didn't see that.
And I was a slob, she couldn't. And I see that today, like I see it like when I'm working in my garden, like the way that I have to have my flowers in the yard, the colors have to be like mixed just right. It's gotten to be very weird, but that's the biggest thing.
I guess we are our own worst critics.
And I even am like that, like even with my grandchildren, like I see a lot of that carrying through my love of books. I feel like I've given that to my grandchildren because that was something that I always gave them was books.
In this class, we learned how to basically speak proper English immediately. That was like a given. Proper manners, how to say please, thank you, and all of the basic things a person needs to know to be able to function properly in real society. Ms. Ginsburg's goal was to basically build us up to get us ready to move on into the real world.
Going to your class, I realized that there had to be structure to certain things, and you were allowed to let your freedom reign. When it came to the books that we read, there were so many different fantastical elements that came into our curriculum. So I realized there's time to be a kid, there's time where you have to focus, and there's time to be a student. What I learned was there's a time and place for everything. So after leaving, I think it was third grade Mr. Biddle's class, and getting into, I don't remember my fourth grade teacher's name, I realized I did not want to go to high school. I did not want to go to college. And I do remember you have to constantly push yourself. You don't say I can't. Can't is not allowed in your vocabulary. I do remember those words.
I did say that.
Yeah. And so even though I didn't want to, I couldn't say I can't. So I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And I tried to always do the best thing for the circumstances I was in. And because of that, I was able to succeed and meet so many different people from so many different walks of life, which is what has allowed me to go down the path that I've gone. And where I thought I hated math, and now I work in finance.
I don't remember. I always remember you loving math.
Yeah, I loved math as a child because it was easy. But as things got challenging, I don't like challenges. I don't want to do things that are hard. I like things being easy. I never wanted to push myself. But I guess it had been ingrained in me, don't sell yourself short. So even if you choose a different path, try to be the best in that path that you can be. Having the right foundation, having the right lessons ingrained in me, and have those lessons being something to reference back to when things were a little difficult and troublesome.
I'm a definite reader. I love nonfiction, science fiction, werewolves, and stuff like that.
Do you still consider yourself a reader like you did on the last interview?
So I love reading, but I also have a tendency of not wanting to pay attention to something. So my, I guess, system has become Audible, YouTube, or whatever, listening to the subject matter while having a book in front of me reading. And then I like things that push my thought process, whether it being religious texts that may not be the same view as mine, self-development books, probably my absolute favorite. I used to love nonfiction, or loved fiction and everything, but now being in the world that I am and realizing what has to be offered and what we're lacking, what can be tweaked, yeah, I love reading, but it's just done in a different way for me now.
Because of the Children's Literacy Initiative, I've had the training to begin to work with children in small groups in a more relaxed setting. It's peaceful in here, it's fun, and we do lots of learning around books.
I had someone that, I don't know if you remember Pat.
No.
But she was kind of like my trainer, and she worked side by side with me. So she did a lot of modeling. It wasn't just somebody telling you what you should be doing that's best for children. There was somebody there that was actually showing you and helping you and working alongside of you. She worked alongside of pretty much that whole year.
Okay.
And I think that was what made the biggest impact on me and changed me as a teacher.
She is my absolute favorite teacher in this school.
Yeah.
My first teacher, so I guess she kind of rubbed off immediately. I hope Ms. Ginsburg never stops teaching, so then my students and my children can come here and say, "Oh my God, Daddy, I love this class. I never want to leave."
Bryce, is Miss Ginsburg still your favorite teacher?
Miss Ginsburg still is my favorite teacher, and that's something it speaks volumes, because when something's happening in my life, she's one of the few people that knows. Whether it's good or bad, she knows about it. And to know that I was one of her students almost 30 years ago just blows my mind.